96.7 KCAL rocks. It is time to talk sports on a Monday with our guy, Pep. What's going on, Pep?
Hey, good morning, guys. What's cracking out there? Hey, we got through the NFL Combine, and the next big date for all you NFL fans out there. I know Patrick's a big NFL guy, 40's an NFL guy, I'm an NFL guy. Well, free agency actually begins for the offseason next Wednesday, March 16th. So we could see a lot of movement of guys starting to move around with free agency beginning next week. And I want to bring up, again, the quarterbacks because it could be like the craziest, wildest offseason for NFL quarterbacks that we've ever seen, or maybe nobody will move. But right now, we're hearing all these rumors that Aaron Rodgers has deals in place with the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Titans. Russell Wilson was maybe going to go to the Washington Commanders, but that didn't happen. Like, guys, there's all of these ideas and rumors floating around with these NFL quarterbacks in the offseason. And again, March 16th is right around the corner, and we could see some things really start picking up in the offseason.
Right, Amari Cooper, where's he going to land? We get to find out what happens here.
I mean, even quarterbacks like Carson Wentz, it seems like the Colts might already be willing to move on from him, too. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot, like Pep said, potentially a lot of quarterback movement, or potentially none at all. Who knows?
I think there's going to be some movement.
I think so, Patrick. I'm with you. I think there will be some movement, but it's kind of interesting. I think it's going to be like either an avalanche of moves where quarterbacks are just going to be jumping from place to place, and it's going to be like a revolving door in some of these cities, some of these NFL teams, and we're going to see guys just jumping, and then it's going to be a domino effect. Like, oh, now that one's open. Let's see who's going to go there. Or we might have nothing at all. We might have Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, Russell Wilson in Seattle. You know what I mean? Like some of these higher profile quarterbacks that seem to be available or, via trade or whatever the case may be, they might not be moving at all. Jimmy G might stay in San Francisco. Who knows?
You're right, but I think there's going to be one that does move.
I mean, on top of all those guys who are, talking about being traded and all that stuff too, you have like Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, Tyrod Taylor, Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, like lots of quarterbacks available who are good too. Marcus Mariota, like decent quarterbacks who are still going to be open to moving around as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And it only takes one, right? Let's just say for the sake of this conversation real quick, Tom Brady comes out of retirement and he goes and plays for his hometown San Francisco 49ers. Like all of a sudden now, Jimmy G's on the move. It could have a ripple effect throughout the NFL about quarterbacks moving around. But again, we'll see. But remember, March 16th, so that's next Wednesday when the NFL free agency will begin. And things should start heating up and getting real fun as we get a little bit closer actually to the NFL draft. Because, a lot of these NFL teams, they want to go to the draft knowing what their needs are, right? Like, okay, we got our veteran quarterback now, so we're not going to draft a quarterback very high. We're going to find we're going to address a different position. So I think the next couple of weeks throughout March will really be telling going into the NFL draft. I think it'll be fun, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Guys, to college football, and this was some big news not only on the national landscape for college football, but definitely here in the Inland Empire. Jaden Daniels, the pride of Cajon High School, the most prolific passer in CIF Southern Section history, the former Arizona State quarterback has transferred, and now we know where. He announced it on Instagram, actually simply putting on the gram, Go Tigers, the Cajun version, right? G-E-A-U-X, Go Tigers. He's going to LSU to play for former Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly. That's a great get for Brian Kelly and the Bengal Tigers.
Big time. I mean, we were thinking, what school is he going to land in? Maybe it's going to be UTEP or Utah State, something like that. LSU.
Brian Kelly and that new Southern accent just got him over there.
He's now part of the family.
I'm sure it was the accent that won him over for sure
right.
Down there in Baton Rouge. But yeah, guys, he's when I first saw this, I thought about it. I'm like, wow, he's going to go down there and play for Brian Kelly, who's had a ton of success, but he is, the new head coach at LSU. So there's going to be a lot of new things going down there. I know there's, the returning quarterback. He's coming back to LSU. There's some other good guys in the room, but obviously Brian Kelly said something to Jaden Daniels that made him feel like he's going to go in there and have a real shot to be QB1. When the fall camp opens up. It sounds like Jaden Daniels will be there during the spring. He'll go through spring ball with LSU to have a real shot of being the starting quarterback. And guys, the last great LSU quarterback was Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow got the Bengals to the Super Bowl, so maybe Jaden's thinking, I'm going to get to the NFL. I want to get to the Super Bowl. LSU's my route. That's how I'm going to get there.
I think it's a good step for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, congratulations to Jaden Daniels going to the SEC to play for the LSU Tigers. Guys, let's pivot to the NBA. Saturday night, LeBron drops 56 as the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors. A huge win, and it feels like we've had this conversation before, and we're about to have it again. But how long can LeBron carry the Lakers to get through the rest of the regular season, to get into the play-in tournament, and go through the playoffs? Like, how many times can he do this, dropping like 56 on a really good Golden State team?
Well, I mean, obviously he can't, but I'm forgetting the name of the player, but there was one other player who actually played with LeBron, and it just goes to show you that he just needs a little bit of help.
Oh, yeah.
And it can turn the game around immediately. I was finally like, well, he just needs one other guy, and they basically wreck shop.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like if the Lakers are going to win this season, it's going to have to take efforts like that from LeBron, because it seems like not a lot of these other guys want to do it. I think they're pretty much already saying that, next year, Westbrook will not be on the team. Like, they're already saying that's going to be a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the reports now that he not only will he not be on the team next year, but just speaking in terms of this year, there's reports that Lakers head coach Frank Vogel's really feeling the pressure from the organization to not start Russell Westbrook, just bring him in off the bench when he needs him. And it's like, right. Wow, man, this guy went from like league MVP to bench player. Like, you know, I mean, it's just wild to think about. He's obviously talented. You know, he's a great player, but he is just not mixing with LeBron and this Lakers squad that they've built around LeBron. You know, maybe blame the front office. You know, blame the front office more than blaming Russell Westbrook, but it's just not working.
He's also not embracing his new role of on the bench.
No.
No, and we've seen already a couple times, like the Lakers have been in tight games, and down the stretch, Russell Westbrook has not been on the floor. He hasn't been one of those go-to guys for the Lakers. So we kind of saw the writing on the wall, and it looks like this is how it's going to kind of play out for the rest of the season, or at least the rest of his Laker career.
40 wrote it on the wall.
Oh, I was not a fan of him bringing in Russell Westbrook. Not a fan of his in general.
All right, and guys, let's go finally back to LeBron for just a moment. So the Lakers tonight, if you look at their schedule, they play in San Antonio tonight, and they're going to stay in Texas the next couple of days. They got Houston on Wednesday night, but they have Tuesday night open. And I'm bringing that up because on Tuesday night at Mighty Centennial High School in Corona, the Centennial boys basketball team will be playing in the Southern California Championship game. If they win that one, they go to the state finals, which they probably will. But on Tuesday night at Centennial High School, Centennial will play Bronny James and Sierra Canyon for the SoCal Championship. So I'm just saying, the Lakers technically don't play on Tuesday night. Could we see LeBron, you know, side by side with 40, walking through those front doors at Centennial High School to go check out that big basketball game?
Perhaps we could get 40 and LeBron in the box.
Bro, I'll show you where all the cool kids sit, where the cool kids section is, and I'll show you where we used to go, like, you know, do stuff.
Student section it up, dude.
Show you all the cool girls hang, man. It's awesome.
Show your school ID card, get in there, 40.
put on that Letterman's jacket.
Throw rocks and stuff off the bridge.
Come on, Bron, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, 40, show LeBron a good time if he's out there at Centennial High School, you know? Take him out to eat, you know? Like, yeah, show him around.
Yeah, Miguel's, all the fun Corona establishments. We'll get a Monster Energy drink. We'll do it all.
Very cool. How cool is it to have that game? Very cool.
It is. And again, the Lakers are on the road, but who knows? You know, LeBron's got private jets and all that stuff. He could fly back if he really wanted to. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, 40, if it's Tuesday night. So, if you still have that ID card and Letterman's jacket, roll out.
Come on in, Bron.
All right. On our way out, I also have to mention that baseball is going to ban the shift coming up in 2023, just so you know, which I think is bull crap.
Well, do we know if there's going to be baseball for them to have a shift?
I know, they're just talking about rules next year, I guess.
I'm down with the shift, right? You know, if you can figure it out and you can't beat it, and that's your own problem. Get a different coach, get a different manager.
Learn to bunt. Anyhow, Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Hey, check us out, Inland Sports, all over social media, the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Check us out at your leisure 24/7. That is Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.